12 books that you need to read to transform your financial life. These are books that I have read and I plan on reading them again. And the beauty about it again is that every month I'll pick a book and review. We actually just finished reviewing The Richest Man in Babylon, an episode that should be already up. You can go back to the catalog and look for it. One of the things that have helped me along this journey of wealth creation is reading and watching, but a lot of reading. I get to learn, I get to unlearn, I get to pick up skills, quotes that when they go to my brain, they make a change, they bring a shift. And I want to give you 12 books without much further ado that have transformed my financial life and my life, my livelihood at large. And you can look for these books. The Richest Man in Babylon. I'm sure some of you know I am a fan of George S. Clason. And this book, I read it about 10 years ago, then 7 years ago, and then last year again, I read this book. I plan on keeping on reading because it's the simplest book. In fact, it's a 1926 book that dispenses a collection of parables set 4,000 years ago. This whole money game doesn't change very much. In fact, if you listen to, I don't want to call them gurus, to millionaires and billionaires, people who have become wealthy, the ultra high net worth individuals, yeah, that's a better name, you will realize when they're asked to give these nuggets or these points or how they got there, they give the same things over and over and over, but it's their explanation that gets you who wants to take this journey to understand what actually it means to get wealthy. So this is a classic, a personal financial advice book. It highlights the 7 cures of a lean purse and the 5 laws of gold. I encourage you to get a hold of this book. So the second book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Hey, I think this is the first book I read when I started working as an accounts assistant. It was a gift from a friend who was leaving to go to work at Congo. She bought me 2 books. She bought me the Rich Dad, Poor Dad and The Cash Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. But I ended up loving the Rich Dad, Poor Dad because it was an easy read. This is a book for anyone stuck in a rat race of paycheck to paycheck, enslaved by the bills. You will appreciate this book. It's like a fresh, a breath of fresh air. When it comes to you are tired of just working, pay the bills, work again, pay the bills, work again, pay the bills. This book will help you differentiate what is the seed and what is to be eaten. Because if you eat everything, it means you're not building your empire. It means that you will, forever, be on that job for you to be able to get that income. It helps you in terms of knowing what is passive income and how to build passive income. Now, on the Rich Dad Poor Dad, it's one of the New York best sellers. And this book, like I said, it just helps you to either master your money or you become a slave to your money. So you differentiate who is governing who. Is it your money governing you, or are you the one governing the money? So you learn how to think like a rich dad and let your money work for you. Atomic Habits by James Clear. This one I read last year, and someone advised me to go for it because I was struggling with schedules, because I had begun the journey of making extra income, looking for extra channels of income. So my diary was filling up with so much to do. And because of that whole thing of multitasking, I would do so many things, but I'm not being able to do any extensively or conclusively. So as I was discussing with a friend, and they recommended this book, a very easy and proven way to build good habits and break the bad ones. Tiny changes, remarkable results. In fact, the book summarizes these results in 4. Make time for new habits, overcome lack of motivation, design a system and an environment that helps you to do the work you want to do, get back on track when you fall off the game. And why I found this book very practical is that all of us have an intention to start good habits, start a good system, start a good schedule. But what encourages you to do that? Do you have the environment that encourages you to do that? When you fall off, what do you do? Because I began by saying in a previous episode that I have come to discover that human beings, we can be very limited and we can fall off very many times. But what is that gets you back on track? So if you are struggling or you want to get better with having the good habits, the only way to drop a bad habit is to replace it with a better habit, according to James Clear. The Millionaire Fast Lane by MJ DeMarco. This one, I discovered it in 2021, in the thick of the pandemic, as I was listening to one of my favorite podcasters, and the person who was talking now mentioned the book, and they went ahead to give a very good review of the book, and I went looking for it and I found it. Now, the summary of this book is the author, MJ DeMarco, notes or advises that himself being a self-made millionaire, that you don't have to use the slow method. Yeah, that's his opinion. You don't have to use the slow method. A summary of creating wealth using the less traveled road, which is the fast lane. Just like the book's title, Fast Lane. So, in short, the author helps us to know that you can do businesses that can blow up. So, he's not for the idea of starting small steps and then building wealth very, very, very slowly. He's for the idea you think through and come up with an idea that will blow up, and then you become very wealthy. Get that book. One of my favorites is called Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. Actually, this book now is the opposite of The Millionaire Fast Lane. It gives you 7 simple steps to financial freedom. Tony Robbins shines as a great communicator in this inspirational personal investment manual through quotes, nuggets, discussions, interviews with 50 recognized investments gurus who, now bring out the 7 points of financial planning. What I like so much about this book is that personally, I would like to be very good with communication in the end. When I retire, just a bit about me, I foresee myself lecturing people, maybe children, teenagers, young people, old people, about wealth creation. I want to fill in the gap. What we were never taught in school, what we didn't know, is what I want to bring in as people grow up. They need this financial information. If you know better, you do better. We did not do better, not because we didn't want to. We actually did know better. And whenever we discover, it's good to have the other people know. So what I like about Tony Robbins is that he's a very good communicator. He's a very good, he's very good with public speaking. And that is one of the reasons this book is very good, especially for people who are also in sales. The 4-Hour Week. This is more by Timothy Ferriss, one of the New York bestsellers and also Wall Street bestsellers. One of the greatest struggles of entrepreneurs is money management. That one I agree 100%. And money management and time management, those two. So the 4-Hour Week, it sounds short, but when you read this book, you may not necessarily just work 4 hours a week and that's it, but you will learn how not to just work but also live as you work. So the author teaches us a balance. It's like a work-life balance kind of a book. So if you want to escape the 9 to 5, live anywhere and join the new rich. He calls it the new rich. You need to get a hold of this book. And this book, I got it during the pandemic. I think that's the time I read most of the books that I'm reviewing right now, and I'm really rereading them. And around that time, it was not possible for us to do the 9 to 5. So we were looking for ways to work even if less hours, but you get the best results. So this is a good book. It emphasizes on hiring others, automation, delegation, and just having a system that does what you do so that you get to rest and enjoy life as you make money. The 7th book that you need to get is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Wow. This is, if you don't get any other book I'm talking about, you need to get this book, especially if you're in the world of sales. And by the way, everybody who plans to own a business, and it's all of us, because our salaries will never get us wealthy. That one, by now, that one, you know. I mean, you must have had that through all the podcasts that you have been listening to, because I know you found me also trying to look for money information like I do all the time. And we have discovered that our jobs may never get us there. So the thing is, as you build your business, your customers are going to come from your friends. So how do you win friends and influence people to actually buy what you're selling? This book is by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. In summary, the leader gives us 4 lessons as follows: fundamental techniques in handling people, 6 ways to make people like you, how to win people through your thinking, be a leader, and how to change people. This book has really helped me. I've been a leader and leading people since 2013 officially. And I thought it was gonna be easy, but it's very hard to lead people if you can't lead yourself. So this book teaches you how to influence people through your own thinking. So first of all, you'll master. It's possible to help to have somebody like you by how you're thinking, not necessarily how you're talking. In fact, if you talk too much, people don't like you. You come off obsessive, you come off self-absorbed or obsessed, but if you're thinking the way you think, I've had people walk into a room and tell me, I love the way how you think. You really don't have to talk much for you to be able to influence somebody. You just need to think the right way, and then you affect them with your thoughts. So if you are in leadership and you are also in the world of sales and you plan to one day have your own business, which you will need to pitch and sell about, then you need to get a hold of this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. The Lean Startup. This is for entrepreneurs, by the way, and we are all entrepreneurs. You have to sell yourself. If you're a music minister, you have to sell yourself. Why should I listen to your music? If you're a clergy, you have to sell yourself. Why should I join that movement? If you are in business, manufacturing, whatever it is you're making, bags, shoes, cosmetics, lips, whatever, why should I come for that one and not any other? So The Lean Startup is by Eric Rice, developing products that clients have already demonstrated a desire for before launch. I found that to be very smart, by the way. Personally, I have opened a total of like 4 businesses. And I've talked about them before. I have run a recruitment agency. I have done farming. I also was in the business of, selling makeup. And then eventually I was a salesperson, selling products from time to time, selling anything and everything until I zeroed down to what I wanted to do. And if I had got this is one of the books I normally say I should have gotten a hold of this book earlier, because I wouldn't have started all these businesses. And some of those businesses I was starting them very extensively, not lean, where you come, you take a space, you put an office, you buy the furniture, and then you say, hey, So what product are we, how do we get the product out? No, this book by Eric Rice teaches you how, first of all, to do the market research. You get to know what are people looking for, and then you test the market with the product first before you actually launch the company. So this is, like I said, the book I wish I would have read earlier. Amazing book for entrepreneurs growing, and it has 3 concepts. MVP, most viable products. Remember that, MVP, and go and get this book. Most viable product that you need to produce. Number 2, how do you measure? You don't have to use, according to the author, vanity metrics that were used by other people. Get your own. Then number 3, learn how to pivot and get, get moving. Like there's a place he mentions that you don't have to be stuck on one thing for too long. Learn how to let go and move on to the next thing. Because this is I was giving this story to somebody the other day. I'm a stickler. I'm a person who can stay in one place for a very long time. Actually, the 3 main jobs I've had, including the one, because I'm employed, I run a consultancy and I'm also employed. The first job I got as an account assistant, I was there for 8 years. The second job, as a financial advisor, but I wasn't trained at that time, I was there for 8 years again. Now where I work right now, I'm clocking my 4th year. So my pattern shows I'm a person who can stick in one place for a very long time. But the question is that really necessary if something is not working? It has its merits and demerits. So this book will give you a balance of how do you know that thing, that job, that product, that line you have taken is not the right one and you need to move away. It's by looking for these 3, measuring, researching, testing, doing all those things. Ain't nobody gonna come and do that for you. It's you who will do that. And I'm speaking to somebody right now who has been at it for a very long time. I'm not saying you quit. I'm just saying that could it be that you are selling the wrong product? Could it be that you are doing it wrong and you need to just relook at everything all over again? You guys, The Millionaire Next Door. I love this book. It's by 2 authors, by the way, Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko. Now, spending less than you earn is what this book emphasizes on. In fact, there's a phrase in the book that says that the richest people don't live in Beverly Hills or Avenue Park. They are the next door neighbor. Because the moment you learn the art of living on way less than you earn, then the difference begins to work for you. They are like your soldiers in the battlefield, winning and winning. There is a show I love to watch called The Money Guys. You can look for them. They're my favorite podcasters internationally. I watch a lot of things, and one of these days I'm going to do a video on all the podcasters, my favorite podcasters locally and internationally. They have changed my life. Those guys are doing an amazing job, period. So the Money Guys show, in one of the episodes, they said that they believe that money is like your soldiers released into the battlefield to win you even more soldiers. So their narrative is, if you eat or kill your soldiers on the spot, like when you receive your salary like this, you have squashed everything. So who goes to the battlefield to win more soldiers for you? I found that mind-blowing. When I heard that statement, I was like, whoa, what a way to explain it. So this book, The Millionaire Next Door, shows you that even you can become a millionaire. And the millionaire don't live in those places I've mentioned. They live next to you. You could be one very soon. So The Surprising Secrets of America's Wealthy, 1996 book. It outlines the 7 characteristics of the wealthy, one of them being live beyond. You live below your means. What am I saying? Live below your means. If you live beyond your means, you will probably never get wealthy, because get rich quickly overnight, that we have already demystified. It's not going to happen. And if it happens, you will finish that money because your brain doesn't have the capacity to hold it. Actually, my whole podcast, my whole show is about training our brains to handle more money, because money you will get. And hear me when I tell you, my dear listeners, community, money you will get. Because as long as you work, money is a function of work. And the word of God says that he will bless the work of our hands. So money you shall get, and you will continue getting. And you've been getting. The question is, what are you doing with that money? Do you have the capacity to multiply? The question should be, once I receive this $1,000, how do I multiply the $1,000? What is for multiplication and what is for eating? What is for consumption? So this is what the book is all about. And I will repeat again what he says, the author. The rich don't live at Beverly Hills. They live next door. The rich is you and I. If we can master the art of governing and becoming good stewards of the money we are using, get this book. Actually, this is a book for beginners. If you're making money but you never get to touch $1 million, even if you're earning how much but you've never built up a fund up until $1 million, this is your book. Principles by Ray Dalio. I love this book. If you want to be rich, study the rich. Don't hate them. Love them. And I'm a self-confessed person who never used to like them a lot because I didn't grow up with money. So I would look at them with visions of they're proud, they're this. Little did I know, they are actually the best people you will ever find. Actually, on the road, the people with the biggest car, they treat you the best. In the stairs, on the lift, the people who have opened for me doors, given me way on the road, being kind, the kindest people on this planet are the wealthy. I said it. They are the wealthy. I have interacted with them, and you guys, there are a species that needs to be studied. So, like I said, if you want to be rich, study the rich, don't hate them, love them. A Life and Work Balance 2017 book written by a hedge fund manager, Ray Dalio. Actually, this guy is very good with hedge fund. And if you want to know about hedge funds and also index funds, and just to give a small light on what is an index fund, it's a stock. It's investing in the stock, but not on one stock, in a fund that invests in various stocks. It's a high level or way of investing. If you want to understand those, you need to capture this book and also do a background research on this Ray Dalio. The Parable of the Pipeline by Buck Hedges. This book, it shows you that building a pipeline of residual income is the way to get rich. Now today, job security, everybody knows, has gone out into, through the window. A long time ago, in the ages of my father, the generations of my mom, my dad, that is the people who were born in the 50s, and they worked through their 70s and their 80s, 90s, even 2000s. They were still working on the same job because job security was a thing. Right now, job security is not a thing. Your job could be the next one that will be downsized. I don't mean to scare you, but that's just the reality on the ground. The world is moving too fast. We are growing too fast. The pivot, the propelling is on another level. So you would never know. You can't just... In fact, this book is about letting you know that job you have is nothing. It could be taken away anytime. So you learn how to leverage your time, relationships, and money to become a millionaire. Time, relationships, and money. The time you have, the relationships you have, and the money you have. So the money you have from that job, the money you're getting, the good thing about your job is that income you're getting. It is that's your arrow in the quiver. That's what you have. And guess what? If you spend all of it, you have nothing. You have nothing. So you need to master how to do that. So the parable of the pipeline, I love this book because it's a good book for salespeople. I'm in sales. I have been in sales for the longest. I'm in advisory, but hey, what we do is just talk to people about our brand and to get them to invest with our companies. So basically, what we are building is a pipeline of clients that will continue to support our business, so that in the long run, when others are leaving, others are coming. That's what we call a pipeline. A pipeline is a list or a schedule or a database or a catalog of people who have subscribed or who are customers who are buying what you're selling. So this book is a very good book. It can prepare you for not having a job, when you're having a job, when you want to go for business, to start a business. These are books I wish I had gotten a long time ago, but I did eventually, and I thank God. The 12th book that you need to get, Influence by Robert Cialdini or Cialdini, depending on where you come from. Influence, the psychology of persuasion. It changed my closing skills, this book, to say the least. I think I've read it like 3 times because I'm in sales, and I want every salesperson or every person who owns a company or a brand, if you hear me when I'm talking right now, go get this book about sales, persuasion. Those who can't sell don't eat. Period. That's all the book is talking about. If you can't sell for life, then you don't need to eat. Explains the psychology of why people say yes and how to apply these principles with understanding. You need to know, why does somebody tell you yes and another person say no? Where I work and with my team, we one day had an exercise where we were saying who has been told no the most. By the way, it's not about how many people tell you no, it's who says yes and why. So we started looking at the clients that have become loyalists, dependable. They've stuck with us even when we had problems, even when our system at some point was had a problem. They stuck with us. The reason why they stuck with us is because of trust, nothing else. They trusted that we know what we're doing and their money is safe, and that's why they stayed with us. So this book helps you, shows you how do you persuade people by being authentic. Learn the 6 universal principles, how to use them to become a skilled persuader. And not just in business, by the way. You need to persuade your children. When you're giving them advice, how do you ensure that they're buying what you're selling? I remember my dad used to be an advice giver, and my mom too. And they were full of stories. How they used to advise us was about their own life. When we were young, we used to do this. As when we were young, we never. And you would listen to those stories. And how they used to persuade us is by examples, living examples. Now look at me, I conquered. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm able to take care. So we would buy the story. We would be persuaded because of their success story. And then and just to give you examples of some of the points, because I love this book a lot, by the way, the Influence by Robert Cialdini. How do you become socially proof? As in you can be hated. Yes, you will have haters, because anybody who wants to hate you can hate you, but how do you prove yourself from receiving so much hatred? How do you reciprocate? Because again, relationships is about reciprocation. Authority. How do you speak with authority? Yeah, get this book. People need to know that you believe in what you're saying when you're talking. You need to convince me that what you're saying is the truth, nothing but the truth, and I need to do what you're telling me to do. How do you speak with authority? And by the way, speaking with authority doesn't mean shouting. Someone can be whispering and speaking in authority. How do you get people to like you? Liking, the art of liking. Commitment and consistency. Hey, somebody at the end of the year told me, I like the way you're consistent and committed. And I was like, wow, way to go. I'm getting it, by the way. These books are helping, you see. I'm consistent and committed by faith. Scarcity. How do you not be too much? How do you become available, but again, you're scarce? And then how do you unite yourself, especially when there's division? Because division will only come. I love the word of God. I love referring to the word of God most of the time because it has stories upon stories of how the enemy normally is trying to destroy what you have already built. There's a scripture that says that when we slept, the enemy came and sowed seeds of evil or discord. So when those seeds are sown, how do you bring unity? Last year I had as a wind up, last year we had the hardest year in terms of building our relationships with my team, and we had the most conflicts to sort out. And I really needed God to give me wisdom on how to sort out some of those, because I could tell these people are friends. It's just a thing that has planted itself amongst us that is trying to divide what we have already built. And the thing is, every time you build something, the enemy will always come and try to destroy. He will always come and try to destroy. So how do you unite your empire, your relationships, your community? How do you exercise that unity every now and then? I know I'm speaking too much about that book. This year, I'm feeling sufficiently generous. So, and because I've gotten so much from this book, I'll be doing a summary of one of these books every month, at least 12 of them. And my essence of doing that is for myself, for you guys, and also for the generations to come. I know we work in busy schedules, and sometimes getting to sit down and read the book can be hard, but I encourage, read the book for yourself. But I'll be I will be doing every month a summary of a book that is impacting my life. These books have already impacted my life. It could be these books that I'll be reviewing, or other books that I'll get a hold of. And if you have a book that you feel Abby Mungai should read to get better, or you have an opinion, maybe in one of these books you don't think it's a good book and you can help us, maybe that would be amazing. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Please subscribe. Support this girl. Help me to build more content like this, and follow me on all the social media pages. I'm mostly on IG, Facebook, and TikTok as Wealth Empire Show. And I want to thank you. I want to take this opportunity to thank you. I know I didn't do it in the previous episode. I began this podcast in August 2022. That's last year. So it's a 5-month-old podcast. I feel I have received a lot of support, overwhelming support. Everybody who has been watching end to end, or 4 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever minutes, I really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. To help me grow, once you listen, share with somebody, and then like and comment. Also, if you haven't subscribed and you've been watching, please subscribe. Once you watch, just subscribe and help me to grow so that I can be able to build more. Talk to me, email me, go to my website www.wealthhubempire.com, send me an email, but most importantly, follow me on TikTok, on Facebook, on IG. I need your following and I need your subscription. God bless you. Thank you for watching. See you on the next episode. Bye. Adios.